Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you what I typically eat in a day. And so if you enjoy this type of content and other homeschool and lifestyle content, please remember to subscribe and let's get into it. All right, so I recently put up a video about some protein hacks or some like protein tips of how I get about 140 grams to 150 grams of protein a day. And so right now I'm in a slight cut of macros, trying to lose a little bit more baby weight from my 18-month-old, and then I have a 3-year-old, and then 4 other kids besides that. But trying to slim down just a little bit from all that, and also just challenge myself to be able to do it. And so I just thought it maybe is helpful for you to show you how my day looks for eating. And so I'm gonna go through and do that for you. I was actually gonna, let me tell you what my macros were for that day. So this was yesterday, and I have to delete my walks because they mess up my macros because they adjust my calories. But yesterday, I don't even know if you can see, well, you can see the camera and out the window, but I'll try to insert a screenshot of this. But my normal thing, let me see where my dashboard is 210 grams for carbs, 61 grams of fat, and then 140 grams of protein. And so I was basically right on that yesterday, pretty darn close. And so I'm gonna go through and tell you what I ate and how I was able to accomplish that. All right, so for breakfast, I almost always eat the same thing. Every single morning, it's just the easiest thing. I don't have to think about it. It fits well with everything else I'm eating throughout the day. It gets me a lot of protein at the beginning of the day. Like, it's just a good balanced thing for me to eat. And so again, I've mentioned some of these things in that protein video as well, the protein hacks video, but I do we call them bear pancakes. My kids have always called them that because they're the Kodiak pancakes that you get from like Sam's Club or Costco, and they have a bear on them. So my kids have always called them bear pancakes since they were really little. Anyways, so that's what I will make a serving of those, which is a half a cup of like the powder. Usually make small, like 3 small pancakes. And then I will have 2 eggs. Despite egg prices right now, still buying eggs and adjusting where we can, and we still have eggs. I know some people can't get eggs right now, and so I'm grateful that we can, but despite egg prices, still doing eggs. And this particular day, so sometimes to my Kodiak mix, I'll add some protein powder if I need a little bit extra protein for that day. I am using, what is the protein powder? Clean Simple Eats. I'm like, what's the name right now? But I also love Macro Friendly Foods, and she just barely released protein powders. So once I'm done with the ones I have, I'll get some of hers to try out as well. But I'll do like a half a scoop or something, so like a half serving, because it's like 20 grams if you do the whole scoop, and usually I don't need that much. And so depending where I am for my protein for the day, I'll add it or I won't. And it doesn't really make that much of a difference, and I just mix it in. And then this particular day, I had some extra fat like that I needed. And so I added some peanut butter. I don't do that very often. I love peanut butter on my pancakes. And so I added that in because I just love peanut butter on my pancakes. I don't always love peanut butter on everything, but I just feel like it adds like a heartiness. I don't know, more, not a savory, it's sweet, but it's also, I don't know what it is. The fat just does something, right? It just adds something to the food. So I had room for like almost a full serving of peanut butter on my pancakes. So I did that on this particular day. And that's what I had for breakfast. I do put a little bit of syrup, and you could pick what kinds of syrup you want to use. I have used like homemade jams before as like my syrup. So it's just like strawberries and blueberries with maple syrup that's been cooked down, and I'll put that on my pancakes. So there's lots of different options that you could do that give you the same amount of carbs. So that's what I do for breakfast. It's very high protein, gives a high amount of carbs, especially after I've worked out in the morning and lifted. I'm like ready to eat, and that's the first thing I eat. Besides water, I haven't eaten anything, and I usually have breakfast around 9 or 10 in the morning, but I've been up since 6 doing other things. So that's kind of what breakfast looks like for me on all days. Breakfast rarely changes. So for lunch on this particular day, I had leftovers. That's kind of my go-to. I will try to have a salad sometimes that's in my fridge already pre-made that I can pull out, or just some like lunch meat that I could put with either some bread if I have room for bread, or some lettuce or something, and have some sort of wrap that way. But a lot of times it's leftovers. So it was a chicken curry soup on this particular day from Macro Friendly Foods, and this curry soup is one of our favorites. We really like it. After the first day, it's more of like a casserole because it has rice in it. And so the rice soaks up a lot of the liquid that's in the soup. You could add a little bit like chicken broth or something to it if you wanted to kind of thin it out a little bit, but we just eat it as a casserole. And then I just had some strawberries. Strawberries are really great, you know, also for a treat if you want for a treat, but they're really great for a low carb option, but they help fill you up as well. And so I didn't have room to have like a piece of bread because I had sourdough made and stuff, but I didn't have room for that. And so I just did like a half a cup of strawberries to go with my soup, and that's what I ate for lunch. All right, and then in the afternoon, I usually have like 2 snacks and at different times. And so around like 2 o'clock, which is like an hour to an hour and a half after I've eaten lunch, I will have a protein bar. Right now, I've been loving the barbell protein bars, which I always call them barbell. It's Bearbell, but I like to say it barbell. Not on purpose, that's just, I don't know why, that's just what I think it is. But it's Bearbell, I like the caramel ones. And so I've been having those, and usually at the same time I do the protein bar, I will do some sort of electrolyte drink or whatever that doesn't really add much calories. I'm not ever tracking that, but it's usually like I do a hormone balance mix in from Better, what is it called? Oh my gosh, it's Better Hormones is what it's called, but that's not the company's name. I can't think of it right now. But anyways, so that's what I have that. And then from Mixers, they have one that's kind of a nootropic mix in, so it's not caffeinated, but it helps like just kind of wake you up a little bit, I guess. I honestly just like the taste of it. Most afternoons I don't necessarily feel super groggy or tired anyway, but I like the taste of it. And so I do one of those, and then they have their electrolyte. Well, it's not quite electrolyte, but it's made with coconut water. And so it's just a water hydration kind of boost. And so that one I'll do like 4 or whatever. Like sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. It just kind of depends. They're also cheaper, so I usually have more of them. And so I'll mix them into a huge, not this jug. I usually have the same, like I use my green one and use the same one so that I can keep water in this one and keep that drink in that one. And so it's like 40 ounces. And so I'll mix it all into that and just kind of sip on it throughout the afternoon. Sometimes I'm done with it faster, sometimes not, but it's also just a nice, like I love the coconut lime flavor from the Mixers, and it comes, both of those come in coconut lime. And so that's what I like to have, and it's just something a little bit different for me. And then usually around 3 or 3:30, I'll have 2 protein muffins. Again, some of these things change just slightly depending on my macros for that day. If I need to adjust them, then I might adjust with snacks. So sometimes more muffins, sometimes less muffins. Sometimes I might have fruit with the muffin instead, if I just have room for 1 muffin, but can do a little bit more carbs. You know, so I kind of mix it together and figure it out. You know, it's kind of a little Jenga jigsaw puzzle type of a game, figuring out how it works the best. And so that's what I'll do. I freeze some chocolate protein muffins. I get the recipe again from Macro Friendly Foods. I love her app. I use it a ton. And so I make a whole bunch. I think I quadruple the batch I have for several months. And then I will just freeze them. I'll flash freeze them and then put them in bags. And my kids eat them for snacks all the time. We just pull them out and put them in the microwave for like 30 seconds, 45 if you're doing 2, depending how hot you want them to be. And then I just eat those as a snack. And so that's kind of, those are my snacks for the afternoon to get me from lunch to dinner time. And then for dinner, dinners are usually where things are different, you know, because I plan dinners. I don't necessarily plan all the other meals. I kind of know what I usually eat for breakfast. I know for lunch I'm gonna have leftovers, but dinner is usually something a little bit different. So I'll go through either macro-friendly foods or Lily Eats and Tells most of the time, at least right now, because those ones are already entered into my macro counter. So it's really easy to, my Fitness Pal is what I use. It's really easy to go in there and just find the recipes and put them in, and I don't really have to think about it. So occasionally I'll put together like where I've grabbed some protein and grabbed some carb, you know, and I'll do my own thing as long as it's kind of simple. But otherwise, I just use their stuff. So on this particular night, I was actually eating leftovers because my family was having German pancakes. Sorry, I like cut my bangs today and they're driving me crazy. I like the look of them, but I can't stand them in my face. They're bothering me. Anyway, and so they were having German pancakes, which are also a good source of protein, but I just didn't want to have that for my dinner. And so I decided just to have a leftover soup. We did a creamy chicken lasagna soup. I think it's a crock pot meal on macro-friendly foods. I didn't make it in the crock pot. I just made it kind of like any other soup. And so it has like mushrooms and spinach. It uses Greek yogurt to make it creamy and a little bit of cheese. And lots of chicken, obviously, and you break up lasagna noodles and put them in there. And so that's what I had for dinner, again with some strawberries, because I had a little bit of carbs left, but not enough for bread. Strawberries are so small of carbs because they're really like, I don't know, high or low on the glycemic index. I don't know which one's good or bad, but they have very low sugar, right, when it comes to fruits. And so all the berries are very, very low sugar. And so they're really good to have for these kind of things. And strawberries are usually just something we have around, and they usually keep longer than like raspberries, because I like raspberries as well, but they usually just go bad faster. And so I had a bowl of soup. They have the serving sizes on all the recipes, so I usually just weigh it out, put it in the bowl, and then had some strawberries with it. And that's what I ate for dinner. It didn't require any extra work on my part because it was already made. So I wasn't like making a separate dinner for me. It was just something that was already there. Again, I planned that as I went through the week, like, oh, we can have this leftover and this will work out. So that is what I had for dinner. And then for it's not a late night snack because I'm like a grandma and go to bed. I'm up in my room at like 9 o'clock most nights and we'll read for a little while, and then usually between 9:45 and 10 I go to sleep. And so I'm like a grandma. So it's not a late night snack, but it's an after dinner snack type of a thing. We do protein ice cream. We've done several different kinds in the past. Right now we're using Macro Friendly Foods, her Dreamy Mix. I like the vanilla. This particular day we just had chocolate left in the freezer, so that's what we had. I still like the chocolate, but the vanilla is my favorite. I like the vanilla more, which is weird because most of the time it's chocolate. I usually don't like the taste of vanilla, but hers I do like. And so I just mixed it up. Me and my husband split a serving. So for a whole serving, it's like almost 40 grams of protein. And so it's about 20-ish, you know, depending for half of a serving. So I whipped it up in the Ninja Creamy, and then you can mix in stuff, whatever it is. There's Oreos, you can do fruit. We just do a lot of mini M&Ms because we have those, and we have Oreos too. We have the Oreo Thins. And so if those fit into my macros, I prefer to just eat them instead of put them in my ice cream. But anyways, and so that's kind of like the treat at the end of the day. Usually at like 8:30 is when I'm eating that, not too long before I go up to bed. And it's something to look forward to. It makes it a little bit easier throughout the day to not eat as many other sweet treats, because I know that, oh, I have a treat at the end of the day that's really, really good macros. It's gonna give me lots and lots of protein, and like it satisfies that sweet tooth. And so that's kind of what I do. All right, so that is what I eat in a typical day. Obviously, lunch and dinner might switch a little bit because we have different things, but generally that's kind of how I do it. And I will throw treats in here and there, like some dark chocolate chips, some Oreo Thins. You know, some days it's like, I just really want a treat today, and that's okay. Even if you don't count it on your macros, you know, just the point is that you are aware of what you're eating. And I think that's what's helped me, is just be aware of what I'm eating, how much fat is in my food, because really so much fat is like hiding in food so easily. And also protein, because I really wasn't getting very much protein before I started counting my macros. And some days I don't count them as seriously as others, like on the weekends. I don't always, or on Sundays I don't, or if we're doing something different on a certain day during the week, then I might not count them if we're going out to eat and I don't want to have to worry about it. You know, I just try to be aware of what I'm eating the rest of the day so that it's not super crazy, right? And just one day is okay. It's where you keep doing that one day and it becomes the new routine instead of being consistent and being aware of what you're eating. So that is what I eat in a day. If you would like to see more of these types of videos, let me know and I can show you more of kind of what I eat. Like I said, some of the things don't really change very much, but if you want to see more like dinner or lunchtime meals that I do, I would be happy to oblige and help you with that. And then let me know down in the comments below if you have any macro blogs or apps or anything that you love to use, because I'm always looking for new recipes, new ideas. It's fun to try new things and to also just see what other people do, because they all adjust and do macros a little bit differently. And so just put those down in the comments. I'd love to see it. I'm sure other people would love to see it. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and I will see you next time.